Let's give a bit more time as people are still trickling in and out. You're watching Roxy and going Steinskate.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's your Nintendo Direct music. We don't want a copyright strike right now.
Yeah, I do have lots of music here that I could play, but YouTube is probably not gonna appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay then, let's just get things started. Welcome everyone. Before we get started, I don't know if any of the early testers are in chat currently, but in case you missed the memo in the testing server, the NDA has expired now as of 2 minutes ago. So yeah, no need to take regard to that anymore. Okay then. Let's see here. I had some problems compiling here, so just gonna run it live and see where we're going. Please work. Thank you.
It works.
Seems like it does. Okay then, before we get going here, I just want to stress that this build is still in active development. There will probably be some bugs that I haven't noticed while testing. Yeah, something will probably break. Hopefully not Windows 98 levels of breaking during presentation, but something will probably break.
Yeah. Also, please consider everything you see as work in progress. Really, work in progress. For example, we are still working on lighting and the way shaders behave. So we will obviously take criticisms related to that. But yeah, everything is subject to change. And the shader work has still not been done completely.
Yes, and of course we will take feedback as a basis for further work, so feel free to give it even though it's clearly something that's not finalized. The feedback is very helpful for deciding where to put our efforts, and how to prioritize our efforts towards further updates. So yeah, let's just take a quick peek. Also, there is no advanced spawn mods and stuff like that, so customization is a bit on the limited side as of now, but we'll just see when we get into it. At this point in time, only the studio and maker is implemented. So let's just take a peek through what we got going. Okay. As you have seen on the Steam page, we have our new base mesh here.
Which hopefully looks better than the one before.
Yeah, Oh, I forgot to turn off not safe for work mode. Okay, I'll need to be careful then when presenting. Let's just play it safe and disable not safe for work. Give me a hot second. Let's see. There we go. Pick it up. Yeah.
Is it mute? I think we aren't streaming audio, but yeah, right now audio there is almost none. Still work in progress, as we said.
Yeah, and this build doesn't seem to have audio. I'm not detecting any attempts from the build to actually output audio. But in either case, we just have placeholder audio for the time being. Whoops, that's not where I was supposed to go. Default cube, that's a spoiler. Okay, there we go. This is the way it'll ship on Steam with Safe for Work mode currently. There will be a DLC on Steam as well as a offsite patch to restore the not safe for work mode, but for the time being, this is it. It'll basically restrict the clothing options down to underwear. Yeah. Most of you are coming from similar games, from competitor games, so you know basically how this works. Besides the lack of advanced spawn mods, it's, yeah. Can I just get her to look forward, please? Thank you.
Still looking at you.
Yeah, she is, isn't she? Let's just ask her to look forward as well. Yeah, there isn't too much to be said here that won't be exactly what you expect if you've been through similar games before. There are a series of customization options and hair options. What's unique about this is that you can mix and match between the different options inside the same category. Like you see here, maybe not the best example, but here we have mashed together 2 types of hair or 3 types of hair, and doesn't really work great together. But is there? The maker currently only has female. Male is to come. If you see the game updates channel, the roadmap is listed out there. You can see the male character creator somewhere down. I think it's the 3rd update. I don't have that on hand now. Can you confirm, Red, what number in the queue it was?
Let me check real quick. It's gonna be Character Creator 2, which is update 1, 2, 3, 4. Update 4.
Okay. So then update 4 will be the male character creator.
Yes, there is technically no limit for now in how many layers you can pick into one single customization slot.
Yeah, we have limited numbers of hair in the current build, so yeah, you can pretty much just mix and mash as you feel like, and remove and mess around as you feel like, or just take away everything.
Yeah, splitting off pieces of the hair is something we still have to do.
Yeah.
Will there be a possibility to create a template within the community? Yeah.
Like, you mean hair cards or something? That sounds like an interesting idea. Red, could you take a note of that?
Sure.
We haven't really thought about that, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, makes sense. Especially if we are going for like modularizing everything in terms of hair. Sets of multiple pieces grouped together to make an hairstyle makes sense.
Yeah. Okay then. Moving on then. The same goes for clothing, of course. Don't really have too many examples here. Can mix and match here as well, but kind of hard to see exactly what's going on because there's only 3 shirts currently in this build. But the same as with hairs goes with the coordinates or the clothing as well.
Will there be hair length adjustments? Yeah.
I think we replied to that in an earlier Q&A, and we're going to look into that for the future, but at current we don't really have anything to promise on that front. But we're going to look into that in the future.
Pretty much requires the same tech used for resizable, scalable bones. So once we do that, we should be able to actually implement that for hair as well. Will be better if ties, bows, and etc. were separate from shirts. That's in the plans. Just haven't got around to do that.
Yeah. Do keep in mind on this that some of these clothings may be a combination of parts that need some loving at some point. Okay then. Did we have that skirt in here? Where's
missing the poses?
Yeah, am I blind?
You are hovering over it.
Yeah.
Clipping aside.
Yeah, we do have some clipping problems still, as it turns out, but also skirt kinda is fun when it's trying to settle.
Well, this is a bit of clipping progress.
Let's see, we don't have any pants yet.
Your ties showing panties in the press conference. Smoke, you need to select it in the stocking. Yeah, now you can actually select it.
Let's see. Of course, this has been a question on pretty much all of the Q&As. On all of the Q&As, material editor or material customization, yeah. But yeah, it is ready and implemented. There we go. Actually, find colors. Now that I recall how to actually play the game. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to show it this way. Sorry, 21.
Yeah, we have a quick edit option.
Yeah.
But you can also see the amount of customization you get into the material settings, which are pretty much almost a one-to-one copy of what we have in the engine. So you get basically access to pretty much what we work with directly in game.
Yep.
It's weird for you to say that saying color accuracy, because technically the color accuracy is currently not proper, and yeah.
Some of our competitor games has a bit of problems with the color. Copy and paste function in material editor. 21, that's a question for you, I think.
Yes, one thing that really makes it easy to make it work is we currently have one single shader which can do everything. So this shader, the same shader, the same material you see for clothing is the same material that works into air, skin, and whatever, just with different settings.
Yep. So yeah, pretty much everything in the character creator follows the same base ideas of how things work. You can mesh and combine pretty much as you want. Most of the kind of ready stuff is split apart so that you can customize, like if you want the one color on one leg and one on the other on the stockings, that's doable.
Ren is asking if there is a way to make realistic folds of clothes. We support normal maps, and I think even the shirt should actually show it if you get in the right angle. Yeah, we do have normal maps. There is a bit of a shading issue right now, but we support normal maps, or you can have them as actual geometry.
As for there's a question here about how we're going to compete with our main competitors. Basically, customization options, extended customization options, and
first-party mod support.
First-party mod support, modding by design, as the Steam page states.
So dynamic folds are something I'm actually looking for. It will be implemented by blending across different normal maps, but it's just in the paper for now. I have no official timeline for implementing that. We have a lot of other stuff to work before that. But it's something I've been already looking into. To expand on the modding support, I think giving us the ability to actually update the game without breaking all of the mods while doing that is going to be one of the best features. And first-party mod support is going to give the creators as much freedom as possible.
Yeah. Our main philosophy here is to give freedom to the users, be that modding or customization options. So we're going hard in on those things.
The shadows are impressive. Thank you. And I'm still not done with shadows.
Yeah, still a work in progress, of course.
Will the sandbox be large? Well, technically, there is no limit. And how many checks do you think it supports? As many as your computer can actually afford? I really like the air reflections. Well, those are actually kind of bugged right now. They are not supposed to be looking like that.
Yeah. Sasar asks if we're afraid that competitors will make something similar better. Well, we're about to head into early access, so it wouldn't really do us much good to try to hide it much longer at this point.
Also, I'm not against having competition. Competition drives the market.
Yeah. If someone else wants to throw their hat into a ring, be my guest.
I mean, our entire premise of the project was literally, fine. If no one is going to do it, we are going to do it to ourselves, which is pretty much what we're doing here. We don't have a proper competitor with proper mod support. We are going to do that.
So if any of you want to try your own luck making a competitor, go ahead. I don't see a problem with that. Okay then, let's see here.
Will there be an emission map support? Looking into proper emission materials, Unity isn't really helping us on that regard. But if we manage to find a way to make it work, I'll probably make it work. Main issue for emission materials in Unity is currently, they are baked only and we have everything dynamically loaded, which makes stuff harder. How hard is for you to share the same graphics quality as KKS? I don't know. We are kind of going for our own rendering style.
Yeah, we're not attempting to replicate the style of any pre-existing games. We are going for something of our own. So it's at the end of the day, it will be very much a taste question. Which one is when we're at the same level? There's still stuff to do, of course, but Yeah.
I'll say that we have real-time shadows and real-time volumetric lighting, which you can see right now. So I don't know. Does that count as better? Speaking of which, this is technically cell shading. It's just a bit smoothed. Are phasing being applied to earrings, bags, and such? Not right now, not yet. But in the future, probably. Multicam supporting creator. That would be interesting to actually add. We will see into it in terms of how feasible it is. Are we making aliens now?
Yeah. Aliens, then we're going with green, I guess.
I feel like this is done because remove button are usually associated with red. Oh, that's some.
Red buttons is the standard button, but yeah, we're due to reevaluate the whole UI at some point. I don't remember which it was. I think it was the second update.
Yeah.
Better age scenes.
I think I missed one. Okay, so there is DG asking if we will still use PNGs for textures. At this point in time, I think we are still supporting PNGs. When you make mods, you can use whatever format is readable from Unity, and then the mod gets serialized in our own format. But at runtime like this, you can load PNGs. 21 can probably give you extra info on that.
Sync head and body colors. 21 question for you. I don't think that's in place at this point in time. No, it isn't. But yeah, that should probably be implemented at some point.
I mean, alongside copy-paste ability across materials, syncing both should make sense. There is just a couple of options that are slightly different between body and head, because there is special stuff for head. The reason why there is no the head looks flatter like this is because it's in a dimly lit area, and the color is really bright itself, so it's killing shadows. Also, remember we are streaming, so compression is also crunching a bit of the shadows. Editable color presets. Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah. We don't have color presets in place now, but I know that there are some users that really depend on it. So we have that's taken note of. Yeah.
Is it possible to only iris pupils show with those clear and eyelashes? Not right now. This is currently planned for the next update, I think. Yes, the next update also adds eye customization, and we are also working for procedural eye generation. So that will be a thing. Is it bug or is the belly moving? It's
not
a bug.
Clipping stuff.
It's not a bug, it's just the script is not adjusting correctly to the animation. She is breathing right now. We'll support H animation for characters with noticeable eye difference. That's to be seen. We will try to implement for inverse kinematics adjustments for different character heights, which they will work within reason. So we will see what we can do. We are aware of the issue. We can't do miracles at the same time. So we'll try our way.
Some experimentation needed. Hang in there for news on that topic.
Will there be an option to use simpler menus with less options for users who feel this is overwhelming? We will probably try and make a simpler version of the UI. So when we actually go over the UI redesign. But yeah. Can you show some shiny stuff? Smoke? About we actually go and customize the hair then. Yeah, speaking of shiny stuff, I don't know who actually asked. I don't remember who it was, but someone at some point asked about metalness, and I did make a metalness. So if you scroll down there is an actual metalness, down there, which changes the way it renders. Now at extreme values, it doesn't look very well in the dimly lit area. I'm still working on it. But yeah, that we have metalness. We also have reflection support from roughness, which wasn't requested by anyone, but I said, as we are already implementing metalness at this point, we can actually implement also roughness. So we can have reflections, and alongside roughness, there is also a Fresnel slider that lets you actually make a surface more or less reflective. And these reflections in supported levels will actually have real-time reflections. In fact, Smoke, if you would please go down there and change the Fresnel slider, we should be able to actually see it becoming more and more reflecting at less angle. Will it have different language? The UI is currently localized in English, Italian, Norwegian, Japanese, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, and traditional Chinese. And there are also available for everyone language files, so you can actually add your own localization.
We will set up a repo for submitting localizations if anyone wants to localize it to their local language.
You can put a different hairstyles per Clot install slot, yes. All the hairstyle is going to be inside the hairstyle slot. You don't have a limit on how many you can place. So we then have sub categories for the hairstyles, which are just when we actually go and split them in pieces. Yep. But yeah, there is no reason to use auto slots for hairstyles when you don't have an actual limit on how many hairstyles you can place. So
yep.
No need to pollute the
there should be no need to create 50 mods about splitting up a single hair set into 20 accessories. That shouldn't be needed.
That's what is a proper modding support at work here. You're basically saying it. Doing stuff the proper way and supporting mods also includes making sure that we can give as much freedom as possible to
UI be customizable. Well, in the way that you can move things around,
I think is probably hinting at creating custom panels, which I think at some point as modding UI, as modding API, we would actually want to have support for that. Individual hair strands or on off. When we split the hair into singular different pieces, probably yes. How many light sources will be supported to work in the meantime in Studio? There is no limit in how many light sources. However, a single piece of a single material can only receive light from the 8 closest lights at pixel level, and still haven't implemented it yet, but I'm planning to actually add all the other lights as vertex lights. We use a fully custom rendering lighting model, so even if Unity would actually support this out of the box, we need to actually implement our own manually. What is the required hardware to run the game smoothly? I don't know. The lowest end system I've tried it is the integrated GPU on my laptop, which is an Intel Iris graphics on a 12th gen CPU. Is it possible to enable disable lights for specific body parts? As of right now, no. We are working into bringing light layers, which would enable you guys to actually select which lights light which layer. So you could actually do that. You could create a sort of marketplace where people can share clothes, hairstyle, or other to boost the community to create a lot of content for it. That would be cool.
Well,
I see a lot of people actually have integrated graphics here.
Yeah, I guess we'll need to get a test bench with integrated graphics going between builds. But okay, about the Spanish localization. Currently, the localization is pretty much done by the team members. So the languages available are pretty much the native languages of people on the team. As we said earlier, we are going to make available the text files so that they can be translated if anyone has any wants to localize it into their local language. And we might splurge for some translations from third parties eventually. And Steam Deck support. Red?
It runs there already.
Did you? Yeah, Carl answered. Okay. Yes.
I mean, runs on it already runs on the Steam Deck. So yeah. Do you have any solution for air lighting in the body? That and the slight clipping into clothing for now, and between clothing. We are working on that. I propose solution for that. We still need to get into the implementation, but we are working on it.
So let's hope one of the users getting a key has a Steam Deck so that you can give it a spin. Several people on the team have Steam Decks and we have verified that it worked, but we only have partial controller support as of yet. So there's still some work to be done on Steam Deck, I imagine.
Well, if we get full controller support, or we actually start and create like a custom input setup, should be good to go.
But game runs on Steam Deck, so we got that going for us. British English. What English do we have? Good question.
Considering none of us are native speaking, well,
yeah. We do have one Brit and one American on hand, so they can fight it out.
Yeah, that is actually true.
Let's just put them into a room and have them fight it out, and we'll go with that. How for story mode?
I18N will be handled for the story mode. I don't know.
Probably again, a bit early.
Can any object be made into light source? Emissive material is something we are still working on. Is kind of a problem because of the way Unity actually handles it, which is baked only. So to have an object emit light is not as easy as just making a light.
Bigger thumbnail preview you're talking about in the item view. We don't have that currently. 21, can you take note of that one? Well, for now then, let's take some time to enjoy the time-honored tradition of deleting the default cube. Okay then, Studio! Some of you might be looking for Studio, so let's take a quick peek at that as well. Beside the inclusion of the default cube, which everyone loves to deal with, a few things that often come up. First off is the search function. That's in by default. We don't really have many items added at this point in time. Just some lighting and some basing shapes. But yeah, it works as you would suppose it to do. Let's see.
The quad is inside the capsule.
Yeah, I meant to get a plane.
And we have real-time shadows working out of the box.
Yeah. And of course, parenting, child, etc. And one of the more important things, for some of you at least, the ability to spawn a character creator in Studio, which is pretty much our box feature for what goes for Studio at this point in time at least. And this is a full-fledged clothing fitting, had a bit of a fit there.
Yeah, we are at work on a very strong optimization that should make this much more fast. Someone was asking, does the shadow support point lights, shadow? Yes, it does support all the lights available in Unity, which are point light, spotlights, and directional lights. We support shadows for all of them. The only thing we can't support right now is area lights, because, well, the Unity by default doesn't support that. So having support for real-time area lights would require custom rendering on our side, which, considering we are still working on making the actual shader work, first of all, that's for a later stage. I'm not really eagerly looking at rewriting the entire rendering pipeline right now. Aren't point light legendary bad in terms of shadow quality, or they're better in newer builds? Legendarily bad is overstatement. They will have shadow quality issues unless they are configured properly. We can't really automatically infer the shadow settings at this point in time, but we try to ship with sane defaults. By the way, one feature of this lighting model is that, and this will be really important also in main game. Aside from having an actual color for the surface, the shadowing can be changed, the light tinting can be changed, And this will be also used into the main game to create really dramatic lighting at sunset, morning, and night times. And also this also enables us to stylize the color of the shadows as well, like giving us full creative control on the way their shadowing looks. The shadowing is also shaded, and you can change the shading amount. We can go from straight out self-shaded, really sharp edges to very, very smooth shading, which Smoke, if you want, you can actually display it. It's like there should be like a couple of sliders for that.
What exactly did you want me to display?
The light smoothing sliders, which should
Okay,
be...
I'm at the loss. Where is it?
I think they are in settings or in the material customizers. In material customizers, they should be there. Should be, if they are in the same order as the materials, should be on top. Yep, shadow sharpness is second band offset. Which is, this is modifying what right now?
It seems to be affecting all shadows.
Yeah. They should also affect surfaces. Well, just like the plane. It's probably better if you just select the capsule. It will be much more noticeable. Yeah. This goes from smooth to sharp, and if the second band offset is set to 0, it will be fully sharp. There is also bias, and down there is also like after the colors there is shadow color and light colors, stuff like that, just under the actual material color, which is down there. Yeah, this can be used to fake subsurface scattering for skin, give more stylization in general. This also works with light tint as well. And the second band is of the shadow, which is controlled by the auto slider, can be customized as well.
Yep. Let's see. Do we have? I don't have any other outfits on hand right now, I don't think.
Can I have 128 NPC models in one map? If your computer can run it, probably. We are decently optimized.
Let's see. Do we have the debug stuff?
I think it's a big steep learning curve when people need to learn what a normal map is. Adding a tooltip to the material editor would be good. Technically, we will be shipping with a PDF file detailing what the material settings are. And in general, I'm also thinking about making probably some guides about how to deal with this. Unfortunately, explaining what a normal map is to someone shouldn't be needed. Mostly because if you are going to customize materials, we suppose you want to. You already know how to handle materials. But yeah, we will create resources to help in general. And yeah, tooltips are probably one of the things that we want to implement at some point. It's not being done right now, mainly because all the slider options are changing over time as we implement stuff, fix stuff, and all we actually go around and do modifications.
Oh.
Also, some starters right now are mostly because of shader compilation, which happens in the editor as we test the game, but when the game is actually built, all the shaders are compiled. Main issue is that right now that takes hours, and we wanted to show up what exactly we have right now and not just an old build.
Yes, what you don't see is on my secondary screen, it's going mad, recompiling every 3 clicks I make, or doing some compiling. So yeah. Don't really have much. Which one? No, yeah, we just have one expression in place. And of course, posing. A lot of fun to have with that. And yeah, of course, some waiting going on here. Let's see.
Any realistic locks for joints? Not yet.
That looks painful. There we go.
All of the clones blinking randomly. Yeah.
Indeed. Yes. Don't think there's much more there. Of course, can load maps. The spotlight is kind of making this weird. Let's just get it off. There we go. Weather effects. We're not quite at that point yet.
Yeah, we have something planned, but Nothing worth to mention right now.
Did you die, Red?
Uh,
Looked like you disconnected for a second.
Jesus.
Okay, I guess so. Any further questions that we missed? Port animations. Good question. Hold that thought for when Red figures out how to rejoin. Welcome back.
yeah, truly a testament of how good the Discord application is. When it's not possible to actually open the chat without actually connecting from the phone. But yeah, I sent a picture of the game running on my Steam Deck.
Yep. For those not looking in. So yeah, it does run perfectly fine on the Steam Deck. Though only partial controller support at this point in time.
Yeah. Is there going to be an animation creator? Yes, later. Also to put those animation in game for each stuff. Probably. I don't see why it shouldn't be possible.
Double poses. Guess it didn't wanna. Yeah, there is. Does
Is that a bug?
21 bug or feature?
Reload the
Didn't
panel.
reload. Okay, I guess not. Let's file that under bug then. Okay, but yeah, there is supposed to be. As you can see here, loaded up a pose here.
You're working on pose system like a motion creator.
I don't know if we're going to go that far with it. A motion creator had a different use case in mind. It's been a hot second since the last time I played that game, but yeah.
Quick tool to convert simple mods from competitors to this. Well,
If
you
we're
can
talking
make
about
one.
if we're talking about 3D assets like studio items, that's probably doable. It's worse when it gets to clothing and stuff like that. I think we responded to a request for that back in the first Q&A, Red.
Well, either the last Q&A or just in the chat, because I'm pretty sure this has been asked at least 3 or 4 times already. Shout out to PMX and VRM. PMX, you should be Project Diva. Well, not Diva. Miku Miku Dance MD, I suppose. Was it PMX?
Yeah, MD.
Yeah. And VRM should be VR Chat, I suppose.
I guess.
I don't remember. The conversion out of the box here, I don't know about it. It would be 100% possible for someone to actually develop a plugin to do it. That shouldn't be much of an issue.
Yeah. At current, at least, we don't really have anything to announce on that topic.
Yeah.
And we're running on safer work mode right now due to this clip going up, this video going up on YouTube after we're done. So sorry, no nudity here now. We will be giving away a few copies, so maybe someone else wants to stream with not safe for work mode active.
Just like that, we went on for an hour.
Character bones. Yeah, advanced bones aren't implemented quite yet. We are aware of the KKP plugin, of course. We're looking into getting some functionality from there into the base game.
Well, not from there, but like
yeah,
that.
But like with the functionality there, we know that the functionality there is popular in competitor games.
Yeah, Miss Timeline. Well, yes, that timeline is coming in a future update. I think it's like in 2 updates. Let me check.
Yeah, Studio Update 1, I believe.
Yes, which is in 2 updates. Well, 2 or 1, depending on how you count, because currently you guys are seeing the early access release, and part of the stuff that is being shown here is also part of the Charter Creator Update 1. And after that, there is the Studio Update 1.
Okay,
The new Studio Assets will be good in general. New Studio Assets? So what do you mean? Is it capped to a 30 FPS right now?
Currently it's running in engine, it's not built, so performance is not
you can probably just
necessarily representative.
Do we have a VSync enabled? The top left?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you probably want to disable it.
Where was that?
There, free aspect. And if it's enabled also in the game, it's probably going to be that as well. There you go.
That still seems
it's
to
still going
under.
at 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is running from the engine. Yeah. Considering it's ready to be debugged right now. So
yeah, running from engine, so experience may not be entirely representative.
It's not representative at all.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll move on to giveaways momentarily, and those receiving the giveaways will be able to test it on their own box. Though the build currently on Steam is a bit older, but will update eventually with this one. So there may be some features that aren't available in the one currently on Steam, but yeah.
We got to show off a build next time. Yes, we were going to show a build. It's just that we encountered some issues that require some fixing. Just because otherwise people again take stuff at face value, and we have an issue right now with the shaders which takes 6 hours to actually compile on the best computers we got. So unless we actually wanted to like postpone the event by one entire day, it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah. You can see the specs of this computer where I tried to build the game prior to release, and like 15 minutes before this stage, it still had like 4 hours left to go. So yeah, the older build, sure. Let's take a peek at the one currently on Steam. Come on, I have too many games on Steam. Steam is lagging. Let's just kill off this one. And of course, it's spawned on the wrong screen.
That's a lot of Civil War games. Well, I mean...
Well, yeah. Let's see. First, drop quickly by settings. And...
I think
there we go.
Yeah. It's probably, right now, it's probably V-synced to your refresh rate, though.
Yeah, I imagine.
You just go and disable V-sync. This should run up to like thousands of FPS right now.
There we go. A bit more lively down there.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it down to somewhere close to 60.
And yeah, we are adding an extra character every time now.
Oh, we're getting there. Let's be happy with getting past 100. Though this is a 4090 and a 7950X, so depending on your hardware, oh my, that's yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might have given the build a bit of a headache. There we go. Just parented everything to one per model. So yeah, by and large, this build is functionally the same as the one we presented. There are some options missing. Okay, this is not safe for work, so better be careful. There are some options missing in this build, like the face and body texture replacement thing. That was presented earlier. There we go. Move apart. I've hidden all character space. Spare one.
Name for the mascot.
Akane. Any questions I missed?
I think a lot of people right now are just asking, just waiting for something else.
Yeah. Okay then. Red, have you been looking around at the users while we've been talking?
Well, yeah.
Let's see. DM me with the results then, I guess.
Give me a sec.
John. Yeah, no. Red. Interesting name.
Check your DMs, Smoke.
You sure you sent it to my account and not my professional account?
Yeah, hold up.
There we go. Okay. Yes. Let's see then. Do excuse us for a few while we're getting the recipients of the giveaway ready.
Typing noises. I do like my mechanical keyboard, yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah. Jahi just asked me what keyboard I have.
Yes. Let's just get the show on the road then. There are a few more people here than was expected, so expanding the number of keys from 3 to 5, so I had to find a few people to add on here. But yeah, after this stage is done, I'll send a key to pretty much these 5. So that would be 1000 Flowers, Seagull, GBack, AAN, and GUI Cool. These keys will be immediate activation, so those should grant access to the game immediately on Steam. We do have a grand total of about 100 keys for those. The rest of the keys will be sent out tomorrow to those that have pledged on Patreon.
Someone declining already?
Decline. Okay. Seagull is declining. Let's see if we can find someone else then. Let's just randomly point at the screen and see what comes up. GUI Cool has immediate luck, it seems, because he came up again. Okay, let's go with this one then. Why did you decline, by the way?
Doesn't
if
have.
I,
Well, I mean, if the computer is the problem, Smoke and me, we actually have like extremely top of the line computers, but yeah, the game runs on a Steam Deck and runs on integrated graphics. We are aware of lower end PCs.
Yeah. Okay, I found a replacement then. Just make sure that I don't duplicate and make myself look silly here now. Okay, cool. There, that should be it then. Okay then. As I was saying, tomorrow we'll start sending out the keys to the patrons as long as they last. About 100 keys, so first come, first serve, in order of signing up for the Patreon and or the Ko-Fi. From there, we have pre-order keys. So yeah. As for the release for early access, the game is currently in the final stages of Steam approval, so we don't really have a date as of yet. But we would assume that there's no blatant issues, taking into consideration that they have issued keys for pre-ordering and for early access for supporters. But we'll probably proceed quite quickly to early access once the game is approved on Steam. And if it takes too long, we'll probably launch it on DL site meanwhile. We will launch it on DL site eventually. Depending on how long Steam approval takes, we might get ahead with DL site release prior to the Steam release. But the idea was to go live first on Steam, but that's depending on Steam's approval process. So yeah. Any further questions? Or Roxy? Well, I can do. Here's some Roxy for you.
Well, someone asked before about if we can actually rename all the NPCs in the main game. I don't yet have a plan about this. I'll see how it ties in with the actual storyline. There will be a bunch of characters that don't have important names and they can be renamed probably. But I don't know how much we can the extent of the character that can be renamed.
As for the discount, we're aiming to not really use discounts much, at least through early access. We don't really know what discount we'll set when we're leaving early access, but I wouldn't expect too much in the way of discounts, as we've been putting a lot of effort into getting a pricing point that we think is fair, so that we don't need to rely so much on it. But yeah, that plan is subject to change as we move forward. But current, we're not planning many discounts. Yes, the price point is in the announcement channel, so just scroll a bit up.
Okay, KKY. Sorry if this was already announced, but what's going to be approached for additional content such as clothing after release? Is the plan to regularly release additional assets or space DLCs over time?
That's more of a business thing, so I'll take that one. For the time being, we're focused on adding content to the base game, so that means adding things in so that everyone gets a hold of it. We might in the future look into creating content pack DLCs, but that's probably for late during early access or after early access has concluded. And yes, there will be repacks eventually through the better repack stuff. That will not be immediately upon launch. Give it the update or two just to be able to address those that give feedback during that time before we open the floodgates fully. Since we expect to get 2 or 3 more users when we release it through a repack.
Material import-export option. Via mods, you can create materials and shaders and export them as part of the mod. So you can actually then use them in-game. What's the space on this thing? What do you mean? Storage? Currently, let me check. Should be around properties, sound file, 2.59 gigabytes installed size. The download is like a bit less. It will grow larger as we start implementing the story mode. And so...
Yeah. Of course, as you saw when I were going through the game, there was wasn't a lot of 3D models and stuff like that. As that starts to get added, the size will grow a reasonable amount, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Well,
if you can
get pre-order with price more according to my regional price for Steam. Right now, Patreon is 5 times the planned price for the game. Well, if only Patreon did make regional pricing.
Patreon doesn't really do regional pricing, so we just need to fall on like where we expect most of the market to be. And there are rules for Steam about how we can price it outside of Steam. So we need to remain in step with that. Red, can you take the floor for a bit so that I can send keys to the people that were chosen?
Sure. Which, I mean, guys, if you have questions, please write. Animated texture support. What you mean by animated? Are we talking about actually having multiple frames over, or just blending across 2 different stages? And yes, Shiro take. We don't have any limits on what can be shared. Animated glow map on the eye. I want to do a pearlescent effect. That is not an animated texture. That is basically you want a shader, and we support actually creating your own shaders, either using raw HLSL or preparing shader in shader graph, which simplifies it. And the entire rendering pipeline is available as separate building blocks that can be used into shader graph. I want to release a lot of documentation on that in order to make creating shaders easier for everyone. Will displacement be implemented in the first Steam release? No, it will be way later. It will be late. I think it's like 5 updates later. It requires a lot of extra stuff to implement inside our own implementation of the lighting model. So that has been slated for later. Doing it with a multiple frame animation will make it really, really unoptimized. And shaders aren't that hard when we are just talking about some generic effects. I think it can be done relatively easy. Will there be clot physics or strictly bones? We are working with clot physics, which are kind of based on bones as well. We will release more details once we release the modding tools.
Yep. Okay, keys given out to those chosen. As a reminder, there are no NDAs in effect, so you're free to screenshot, stream, share, do whatever. Have fun.
This reminds me, we need to actually get modding tools up to date and repackaged and actually posted here.
Yep, that we do.
Or we could actually just bundle them with the game.
Yeah.
That's an actual option.
We can add it as a DLC. I don't think we need to send that in the default build, but we can add it as a DLC so that people can download it as well through Steam.
Or as an actual tool.
Yep.
Steam actually supports also that. Well, yeah, we will figure out something.
Yes.
What's the best way for press to get in touch?
Give me a second. We do have a press email. Come on.
You'll contact us via Discord?
Yeah, Discord works. Alternatively, we got an email. Press tends to favor email communications. So, yeah.
I mean, Guichol was one of the winners, I think, is probably referring to the keys. But I think we send them via DMs, I suppose.
The keys are sent. The keys on Patreon will be sent using Patreon's fulfillment system.
Guichol is one of the guys that actually won the giveaway today.
Who's?
Guichol.
Yeah. Oh, didn't I send it to him? Yeah, I did.
Check your direct messages.
Check your DMs. If you have filtering enabled, it might be in the message request thing. Just look for DM from me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Discord spam identification isn't exactly great, so it tends to throw things in. The price on Steam is listed in the announcement channel, so just scroll a bit up there, depending on your region. For that, I have no idea.
Seal dollar.
Like half of these currencies, I'm unsure what is.
Colombian peso, I think.
IPO, good question.
Can I get the key by joining a patron?
Yes. We will start sending out keys to Patreon supporters tomorrow. If anyone supporting a Patreon decides against supporting us, please contact me by tomorrow. We won't process refunds after sending the keys. So this is last chance to step out if you have cold feet. So just keep that in mind.
Send VRChan nudes. Well, now the actual NSFW channels in this Discord can actually get some use.
Yeah.
Grid and snapping. Now that's something. Let me take
that
note.
Would be nice. Those giving suggestions here, though we do take notes in these meetings, it would also be nice if you could just post it in the suggestions forum as well, so that we have it easily referable. But we do take notes here, so yeah.
More in the specific, on a weekly basis, we go through all the threads that have been updated and written inside suggestions. So we do take care of reading them, and then we actually answer back.
Yeah. As you may have noticed the past few weeks, around this time on Monday, we go through all the threads and see what we can respond to them and how they fit within what we're already planning and all that fun stuff. So if it takes a while to get a response on suggestions, it probably means that it's slated for discussion in the following Monday meeting.
Yeah, trivial stuff gets answered as we read it. Other stuff gets slated for Monday meeting. And yeah, the longest you might wait is like you sent it for what for us is late or night Monday, and then you will have to wait for an entire week. Sorry, but it's way easier for us to actually handle it this way.
Yeah, so there's no need to think that we're ignoring if it takes a few days to get response.
Yeah. In fact, the ones that have been open recently and they are still without an answer, they will be answered on next Monday.
Yep. Well then, yes, those of you that got the key, do have fun. The rest of you, do look forward to it. Hopefully one of those that got the key feels like streaming a bit or posting some screenshots or whatever. Yeah, stay tuned for more news and more stages. We will probably not do streaming on Discord next time, since we got a bit of a scare this time. We'll probably do it on YouTube or something going forward. Yeah, I think we'll call it there then. Thank you all for showing up. Do have a lovely weekend. If you see the announcements channel, there were more people interested in attending this stage than the stage support on our current, or at that time, current boost level. Thanks to a few of you boosting the server after that announcement, we moved up a level, so all went fine, but we'd rather avoid that being a thing. Yes, I'll make a post about how to activate Not Safe for Work in the announcement channel after we've closed this stage. So just stay tuned for that. But yeah, the build supports Not Safe for Work. But by default, it's using Safe for Work mode. Just stay tuned for that. Let's not go into discussion about the pros and cons of different platforms.
Yep. Just a small consideration. If it seems like we are working on stuff at a slower pace that you would expect, keep in mind we are a small team and we are trying to make everything as per spec as possible. Supporting mod first party means that we have to do a lot of work behind the scenes. But feel free to actually criticize our work. If you, especially for who gets the key now or in the next days, if you want to start working with and creating mods, please let us know about your experience with using the modding API. We try to use our own modding API as a sanity check, but your experience is going to be very valuable for ourselves to realize if what we have been doing for the last few months is valid.
Well then,
I guess that's a wrap.
that's a wrap indeed. Thank you all for coming. I'll just close out the stage here now. And do have a lovely weekend, lovely evening, or whatever it is where you're located. See y'all!
Bye bye, guys.